We've all done it. Late night scrolling, looking for a cheap pair of shoes, a vintage jacket, or maybe some cheap furniture to fill your purchasing desires, like the good consumerist you became. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Is mindless. But what if, while scrolling through thousands of ordinary, everyday items, you stumbled across things that gave you weird vibes, made you question what it is that's being sold, and why does it make you feel weird that it's being sold? Say a listing for a common household object like a cabinet, a stuffed toy, or a plain t-shirt, but the price tag is in the thousands, with a description below it describing it in a way that doesn't match what shows. It describes physical measurements, an age, a race, a gender. For years, a terrifying theory has festered in the darkest corners of the internet that the platforms we use to buy secondhand clothes are being used right in front of our eyes to possibly traffic human beings. Is it a massive, hidden in plain sight conspiracy? Or is the unsettling truth so dark, we pray that it isn't the truth? To understand how deep this rabbit hole goes, we have to go back all the way to July 2020 when the internet absolutely exploded over a furniture giant, Wayfair. An eagle-eyed user noticed something incredibly bizarre. It was a plain industrial-grade storage cabinet, and they were all being listed on the site for astronomical prices, anywhere from $9,000 to over $15,000. But the price wasn't very suspicious alone, no it wasn't. It was actually the names. The cabinets were given specific human names like Yaritza, Annabelle, and Allison. Internet sleuths plugged those exact names into databases of missing children. They found matches. The theory caught fire instantly. People believed they weren't buying furniture, they were buying the children allegedly hidden inside them. In my personal opinion, if I had saw that, I'm immediately contacting the store, I'm contacting the person selling it, or I'm gonna contact the police and pretend I'm making a sale with this person, and I'm gonna expose them. Now, let's pause and look at how the company themselves reacted to these newfound informations. Wayfair immediately scrambled to address the panic, as they explained that these were possible heavy-duty industrial cabinets supplied by a third-party vendor. The astronomical prices, though, were apparently some sort of glitch. When third-party sellers went out of stock, instead of deleting the listing, which hurts their algorithm ranking, they programmatically jack up the price to a ridiculous amount to prevent anyone from actually buying it. That doesn't even sound right on its own, because they know there's rich folks out there that'll buy anything that looks nice. So them doing that sounds like a sketchy excuse. And the fact that Wayfair was doing that back in the day and they were just protecting them by saying, hey, it was a glitch. Hey, they're just doing this so that way they can not sell anything. There is still rich people out there that will buy these items. As for the names though, they said the software companies use automated name generator databases to name thousands of products. The matching missing children names were a tragic case of probability. You search a database of thousands of missing people, you'll eventually find a match for almost any common name. And that right there is bullshit, because I don't think you're gonna name a cabinet Ben. I don't think this whole thing is right. I think Wayfair has been hiding a deep secret. Wayfair temporarily pulled the listings to fit the descriptions and pricing. Sketchy. But the seed of doubt was already planted. The internet had tasted a new kind of horror, and it was hungry for more. Why the fuck did I write that? This is odd behavior alone, as it looked like they knew what was going on down, but didn't want the public to know and kept trying to fix it in secret. Not to say Wayfair intended it to happen or that what they say or did was true or in good intentions, but the names all matching missing kids ends up not being probability, but when being done consistently, especially if you're naming a chair Alice and then unironically calling it a probability that it matches a missing child's name, then that gives me the heebie-jeebies about what dark stuff is going on in Wayfair. Fast forward to present day, the panic has migrated from massive home goods and retailers to second-hand peer-to-peer apps, most notably Vinted. Most recently, TikTokers have started sharing screenshots of stuffed animals and cheap toys listed for over £10,000, but the descriptions on these listings are what truthfully horrified fans. Take a look at this viral post. The description reads 2 years, 86cm height, unused. Under normal circumstances, that makes zero sense for a stuffed animal. Why would a plush toy have a physical height of 86 centimeters, an age of 2 years, and words like tight and unused? Social media users immediately assumed the absolute worst, that traffickers were using the plush toys as a code to sell children. The backlash was so intense that French prosecutors actually launched a preliminary investigation to verify the claims. But once again, when you peel back the layers of how these platforms actually work, a different picture emerges. On Vinted, apparently if you list an item under toys, the app's automated system forces the seller to fill out standard demographic fields. These fields are designed for children's clothing and toy age ratings, such as age 2 years or size 86 centimeters. So what about the creepy descriptions and the massive prices? When in a normal world, does a normal person describe a Buzz Lightyear toy as tight? First, we have the possibility of maybe trolls online that are using the Wayfair theory to become famous, and internet trolls realize that they could easily manufacture a panic, which I call bullshit immediately, by listing a random teddy bear for thousands of dollars, or just, intentionally writing creepy double entendre descriptions. They could guarantee their post will go viral on TikTok, and it's a sick form of clout farming. But I don't think that's the case. I'm going to go ahead and snip that on its end. I personally believe that it's going to be money laundering. Criminals often use peer-to-peer apps to clean dirty cash. They list a worthless item for $10,000, buy it using a dummy account with stolen or illicit funds, and the platform transfers clean, legitimate money to the seller's bank account. French authorities and Vinted safety teams ultimately found absolutely no credible link to child trafficking in these viral posts. I mean, it's easier to say publicly that nothing is going on, though, while they are actively sweeping under the rug. I mean, look at the Epstein files. The same phenomenon also haunts Mercury. Users have documented ghost accounts posting incredibly blurry photos of plain t-shirts or basic household items with bizarre, nonsensical descriptions. One infamous listing showed a low-quality photo of a shirt with the description, "The best part about this place is women." Once again, the comment sections of these discoveries are filled with fear, but cybersecurity experts offer a much more boring, yet another possible realistic explanation: API and bot testing. Programmers write software bots designed to automatically list items across multiple platforms. To test if their code is working, they program the bot to pull random, scrapped text from the internet and upload it with a massive placeholder price so a real human doesn't accidentally buy it. It looks incredibly eerie, like a coded message from a dark web syndicate. In reality, it's possible that it could just be a broken piece of code talking to another piece of code, which to me, again, that doesn't sound like a good reason at all. Here's the hard truth about human trafficking, on the other hand. Actual traffickers typically wouldn't use highly regulated, heavily monitored public platforms like Wayfair, Vinted, or Mercury to sell people. Every single transaction on these platforms requires a bank account, a credit card, a physical shipping address, IP tracking, and government-regulated tax forms. It would be the most easily traceable, foolish crime in human history. Real-world trafficking is far more insidious, relying on manipulation, coercion, and offline exploitation of vulnerable individuals. Though this doesn't eliminate the chances that something more evil is going on. We've seen that with modern-day hidden monstrosities like the Epstein cases, or even the infamous Bohemian Grove trope. However, there is still a real-world horror that happens on these apps every day. Sellers, especially women and parents selling kids' clothes, frequently report receiving deeply unsettling messages from real-life creeps and fetishists trying to buy used items or asking highly invasive questions. Fucking sickos, immediately. You're asking for personal questions about a child's clothing. So let me just carry on before I get mad. While the giant conspiracy theories of secret online markets might be debunked, the presence of real-life predators lurking in the very direct messages of these apps is very, very real. Our brains are hardwired to find patterns in chaos. It's like a psychological phenomenon called apophenia. When we see like a glitchy algorithm with a weird price and a strange name, and we build a nightmare to try to explain it. But sometimes the scariest thing on the internet isn't a shadowy syndicate. It's just the cold, unfeeling machinery of the algorithms we interact with every single day. Before you ever go to bed tonight, make sure to sleep well, and remember to watch what you do and see while shopping. Because you never know if one of these cases end up being underlooked and they end up being another cold case of child trafficking. Until then, my bimboos, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.